What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, back again with another video, and today is going to be about Shopify Facebook ad no-nos. Things that you don't want to do, things that you want to avoid, things that you want to stay away from. I got 7 things here that you do not want to do as a beginner. Sorry if I sound a little bit off. I'm coming down with a little bit of a cold, but let's just dive right into it. So, number 1, tell Facebook what you want. Do not beat around the bush and try to play the algorithm. Now, playing the algorithm is like optimizing for engagement, hoping that it will increase conversions later on because of social proof. And I talked about this in my, what should I optimize for video, where I kind of made fun of like people who think that, just because you have a bunch of likes and stuff, it makes people want to buy your products. Not true at all. Like, there's so many pages out there with a bunch of likes and, being Instagram famous or having a post that went viral is so common nowadays. I don't believe it really has any effect on whether people will buy from you or not. I mean, if anything, I've seen, posts that had a ton of social proof and posts that had almost no social proof perform exactly the same. There was no difference. So this is why I say just tell Facebook exactly what you want. Like, optimize for what you want. If you're trying to get leads, optimize for leads and make sure that your pixel's installed correctly. If you want purchases, optimize for purchases. Don't optimize for engagement if you're trying to get purchases. It's okay to optimize for engagement or video views or something along those lines. Just understand that you're just going to get engagements. You're just going to get video views. I've had some circumstances where, I optimize for purchases and I don't get any purchases. And I've also had some scenarios where I optimize for engagements and I do get purchases. So just because you tell Facebook that you want to purchase doesn't mean that you're gonna get it, but nothing is gonna increase your conversions like optimizing for conversions will to begin with. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand, is that you're way better off running an ad with no social proof, optimizing for conversions, than running an ad with a little bit of social proof. It makes no difference at all. As a matter of fact, the difference is optimizing for conversions will probably do better than the one that has a bunch of social proof. Number 2, do not breach the Facebook ad policy. You will get caught and you will get shut down, and you will wish you never did it. Because once you get shut down because of a violation of the Facebook ad policy, it's very hard to get your account back, and you're unable to continue running ads on Facebook under your name with the same debit card. So it's a very big pain when you get caught and shut down. So it's a good idea to read the Facebook ad policy and get a good idea for what you can and cannot do, what you can say, what you can't say. A few basic ones are just don't sell trademarked products. They'll shut you down so fast if they catch you selling trademarked products. Don't be assumptive in your ads, and don't blatantly offend people or other brands. These are just very simple things. Like, don't be assumptive would be like, don't say you need this to lose weight, because that's kind of implying that the person reading it needs to lose weight. You're not allowed to do that. A better thing to say would be, something that's not considered offensive or could be offensive content would be, people are using this device to lose weight, rather than saying you need this to lose weight. It's just a lot less offensive. And, these are the types of things that you need to know. You need to know how to play your words, where you're literally saying the same exact thing, just in a different way, so that Facebook doesn't shut you down. And I have plenty of videos talking about this, talking about Facebook cracking down on this. And there's many different ways, but everything's in the Facebook ad policy. You can just Google this, public information. You don't need to learn it from me. You don't need to learn it from anybody else. Facebook literally tells you how to follow their policy. So just, simple number 2, just follow the Facebook ad policy, not too hard. Number 3, make paying Facebook your number 1 priority. Every morning, every night, you should be paying how much you owe you should be checking how much you owe Facebook and when you're supposed to be paying them. There's something called a billing threshold, and don't let it go up higher than what you normally have in your bank account. I like to personally set my billing threshold to $250, all the way up to like half of what I'm spending per day. That way it bills multiple times a day. And the reason for this is because I don't want my bank to get sketched out over Facebook trying to pull $700 out of my account. And this happens numerous times. I like using smaller billing thresholds because banks think it's less suspicious when it's a smaller amount of money rather than, $750 or $800. And many of you might think that, oh, if you miss a payment, it's fine. Like, you could just pay Facebook and everything will be running again and everything will be fine. It's not correct, because in my experience, missing a payment to Facebook has often led to profitable ad sets dying out, entire campaigns dying out, and making entire stores impossible to revive. Just like so many campaigns and ad sets die out, and it's just impossible to bring back. And this is just in my experience. Like, missing a Facebook should be the worst thing that you can do while you're trying to scale a store. I've seen people get away with it. I've seen people have their whole stores messed up over it, and I can tell you that it's not worth the risk, and it's worth the extra effort to go through and make sure that all your payments are set up and you're gonna pay Facebook every time. And yes, one thing to note is that not every time you miss a payment to Facebook is it your fault. Sometimes your bank will just instantly reject it because they think it's suspicious. In that case, you need to hold a good relationship with your bank and tell them that you pay money to Facebook, and if you miss a payment to Facebook, it will ruin your business. And I've actually told my bank this, and they put a little note on my bank so that when they check my statements, they don't think it's suspicious, because there's a little note that says verified that they spend X amount of money per day on Facebook. Number 4, do not impulsively turn things off or impulsively make decisions that can alter the future of your ads. Read the data and think of all possible outcomes before making any decisions, like turning an ad set off, turning a campaign off. Don't just turn off a campaign thinking you can turn it back on tomorrow and everything will be fine, because that's not how it works. It has everything to do with optimization, and if your ads are optimizing really well, then turning it off and back on again forces it to re-optimize, which it could either optimize better or worse, and you should never take that chance. In my opinion, it's not worth it. Most people do this because they're having a bad day. They're scared to lose more money. Maybe they've been having a bad couple of days. Most of the time, I let it run anyways, because the second you turn it off, it's usually done for, and once you turn it back on, it's probably not going to do that good. Now, this is just in my experience. Of course, I've seen people get away with it, but I've also seen people get really screwed up over it. So, again, not something that I would recommend doing if you're scaling your store with Facebook ads. Number 5, stealing content for your ads. Never steal content for your ads, okay? I've done it, I've gotten away with it, and I've gotten caught doing it. And I've also created my own content, and I think it's much better. But out of everything, I wouldn't steal content again after getting nearly sued by a big corporation. It's like a multi-billion-dollar a year company. Since I didn't make the video, I didn't know it, but a section of the video had their product in it, and they reached out via email, and it almost got us into a lot of trouble. But the worst thing is, because most of the time you just get like a cease and desist, just like a letter saying like, hey, you got some time to change this. But the worst part is if you get caught and you are forced to change your ad, this could mess up your optimization drastically, because you can't just edit a working ad set. Sometimes it forces it to re-optimize, or it'll pause the ad. It'll pause the ad set for a little bit so that it can show this new ad to people, and that can mess up your conversion rate. All in all, it's not worth it. I mean, it'll cost you $20-$30 to get a custom video made, and on top of that, you can put your own logo on it. You can put your own call to actions. You can make sure that there's no stolen content in it, and the whole video itself isn't stolen content. You own the rights to it. Just all in all, it's more worth it just to make your own content. Number 6, do not turn off or edit a profitable ad set unless you are risking it dying out because of what you changed. Now, I talked about this earlier, where if you turn something off and turn it back on, you're kind of risking it dying out and not being able to be revived again. It's the same exact thing with turning off campaigns, ad sets, or editing a profitable ad set. If you change the budget, if you change the age range, the placement, the interest, anything that you change, you're risking losing what was working. But I understand, sometimes it's worth the risk. Some ads just do really, really well, and you want to try to edit the budget and scale it up. I agree. Sometimes it's worth risking the entire ad set or the entire campaign just to bring it to the next level. But the important thing here is to know the risk that you are taking. Don't just take a risk without knowing that you're taking a risk, because most people think that they can just change it, and if it doesn't work when they change it, they can just change it back and everything will be perfect and butterflies and everything's good. But that's not the reality of how it works, because optimization is involved. It's not just showing your ad to, a selected amount of people every day. It's showing your ad to people that it chooses specifically because they think that they're going to make purchases. And if that's doing very well and you edit that, you could never get that perfect optimization back. That golden, the golden touch that ad set had, you could lose it. So, and most people think that, it's just like, oh, you just turn it off, you turn it back on, or you edit this, you just change it back. It's not like that. But again, sometimes it's worth the risk. Know the risk you are taking. But honestly, sometimes it's better to just let it run and make you money, even if it's only spending $1 a day. If it's gonna make you an extra 50 or $100 a week, then fuck it, just let it go. It's not a big deal. Number 7, be patient for the right results. And the reason why I say this is because in my experience, when I make decisions motivated by short-term gain, meaning with the intention to make money now or make money in the next couple of days, usually ends up with medium or long-term loss. And I say this because usually if you have a strategy, it's going to require patience. It's going to require for you to read the results. You're not going to be able to cut corners if you want to follow the strategy correctly. And if the strategy does require patience, don't try to change things in the strategy. Like let's say that the strategy says give it a couple weeks and you want to, spend triple the amount and only give it a few days. Well, now you're not following that strategy anymore. You've come up with your own. And this is why I say be patient for the right results, because you want to make your decisions based on medium term and long term gain. You don't want to make money tomorrow with this. This is something that you lay out your foundation and you build on that foundation, and it builds a money generating machine. You're not trying to make 100 grand tomorrow. You're not trying to scale to 30K a day next week. Now, there are people who do that, but they have their place. They built up to that point. They weren't trying to do that in the beginning. Okay, so if you're following a strategy, just follow it. Don't cut corners and be patient for the right results. That concludes this video of Facebook ad no-nos for Shopify. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you thought. For those of you who do drop a comment and do subscribe, I really appreciate you guys because it helps grow my channel a lot. But as for this video, this is Noah Brewer and I'm out. Peace.